Hello and welcome back to Branding Solutions, and this is Smackdown version. And after the catastrophe that happened with the whole dropping to cult status, I figured out that I'd been making a few mistakes with my own cutting of the promos and putting the superstars over as overness rather than entertainment, which didn't help at all. So I'm going to probably skip writing a lot of the promos and just go through what I think they'll be saying to each other, just until I can get past the time where I can move back up to the next level. I will write some of the more important ones, but just the basic ones are going to be done for now. And we're going to jump straight into the show now. Straight into the pre-show, we have Cody Rhodes versus Lance Rush, which is Johnny Gargano, but I've given him a new name for the show. He got a very good in-ring performance against Cody Rhodes. They're both heels at the moment. I just wanted to debut him to see how good he is. Cody needs to win. Simple as that. Sasha Banks defeats Summer Rae. A decent wrestling match. Well, that's unusual with Summer Rae in the match. But obviously we've got to push Sasha through the roof on the women's division. And, well, Summer Rae is actually a lot better in the ring than they ever give her credit for in the real wrestling. So this works really well on the pre-show. Sasha's going to be moving into the title picture within the next couple of months, but I'm holding her back for a couple more. Jay Lethal loses to Bray Wyatt. I wanted to see if these two would click, and they don't. So there won't be any future rivalry between these two. Again, I just needed Bray Wyatt to have a win because I'm not going to be using him too much on telly at the moment. A bit like how they don't use him too much in the real wrestling. His gimmick is just teasing Daniel Bryan a lot of the way through. And we'll get further into that in the next few segments. We open the show, which I thought would be a lot better, but we have Seth Rollins comes to the ring flanked by the chosen ones, which is Barrett, Rhodes, Sandow and Drew McIntyre. And so everybody was picked to be the next brightest thing, and they all fell under John Cena's shovel along the way. John Cena comes out, running his mouth, as he does, saying that they weren't good enough. And Seth comes back to say, these men are good enough, and you have to go through them, everyone, to get a shot at my championship that I defend against Daniel Bryan. Again, Seth and John Cena, I don't want them to have another proper match for a while. And Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan is the next title picture match. And the fact that Bad News and Cody have been pushed to main eventers means they can have matches with John Cena that will go over. Drew and Damien are struggling in these sort of segments, which is a bit disappointing. I'm not sure why it got such a low rating. He has no chemistry here. Drew McIntyre, no chemistry. Well, that doesn't explain why it's such a low rating when you've got your star attractions. And what's the turn? I am changing his gimmick to Man on a Mission because apparently it's gone stale. I'm going to save it for another couple of shows. And it doesn't say stale on there anymore. The opening match is John Morrison and Goldust versus Rusev and Ryback. And John Morrison defeated Ryback. And this is again pushing to start the rivalry between Ryback and Rusev and John Morrison for the US title at the next pay-per-view. And they do seem not to go badly with each other, but Rusev is a lot better than John Morrison. I need to really give John Morrison a push for the next month to get closer to Rusev's level. Bayley cuts a promo backstage saying that they can kick her and she will always get back up ready to fight one more time. Again, this is a bit like what Bayley's gimmick is in real life, where she just will never back down from a challenge. So, just seeing if she's going to get at the promo skills, which she is, she'll get better. She will get better. And she defeats Emma in a match. 43 is not the best, but again, she's got up to 50 in ring performance. She is getting better. We have Rowan and Harper defeat Andre Cool and R-Truth. This is pretty much just a squash match because I need the Wyatts to get back over. They've had a bit of a losing streak. Luke and Rowan are not really having match time. But Andre Cool really handled himself well in the ring, so maybe getting a bit more of a push than I thought a bit earlier. Bray Wyatt comes out after the match, continuing his promos against Daniel Bryan, wishing him the best of luck and to watch his back, because the buzzards will always be around waiting. This, again, I'm just teasing Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan as a potential title picture match. Don't know if I'm going to let Daniel Bryan beat Seth Rollins or Seth Rollins retain. Whichever one, it's going to be leaning towards the other for the next pay-per-view. So I kind of like keeping Bray with Daniel Bryan because I think they put on great matches. And we'll see where we go with this. Next up, we have a tag team match with Asuka and Becky Lynch defeating Paige and Naomi. Paige was head and shoulders above the rest. And we also have Charlotte, who distracted Paige, which meant Naomi took the pin, which is okay. And Charlotte turned on Paige because Paige has a heel, which really annoys me because I feel we need her to be a face. And I'm gonna risk doing this early. Complete success. So now Paige is a face going into their match, which is good. And Charlotte uses her own finisher on Paige to take her out, sending another message before their match at the next pay-per-view. Adam Cole gets a win over Alex Peck, and this is again just a match to put Adam Cole over because he is Edge's protege, and it's not terrible rating considering it was Alex Peck's debut too. So Seth Rollins distracts Adam Cole after the match, and the rest of the Chosen Ones come out and viciously attack him. Again, because Adam Cole has been picked by a management as a Chosen One, the former Chosen Ones do not want him getting any shots. So this all works out that he will eventually have to team up with John Cena against two of these in the pay-per-view coming up, which I think would work. I'm not sure how or who it's going to be against, because the Office 2 would be Bad News and Cody against Cena and Cole, but we could turn it a little bit and have Mark Henry, who's still technically in the storyline, throw in one of those two, but they're not over enough. So, but Seth Rollins now has his own faction, and that faction is pretty impressive. It's not the best rating, but it's mainly because it's Adam Cole getting the beat down. It's not really over yet at all. The next match is Apollo Crews and Big Show versus Baron Corbin and Sheamus. Sheamus defeated Big Show with a bro kick. This, again, is just trying to keep the storyline going between Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, putting them in with a few more main eventers to try and put them over a little bit more. But sadly, it looks like Apollo Crews has suffered some form of injury, which we will have a look at later in the show. Again, returning to this Chosen One storyline, which for some reason didn't show up on here. Mark Henry beats Damien Sandow. He has had a few defeats recently, so I needed a win on his name. Edge books a match for next week, and it's going to be Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins. This is going to be a real test just to see how good Adam Cole is rating-wise over somebody like Seth Rollins. Seth will definitely win this match, but we can lead to something being built up through this match. My main event match gets an awful rating, which is ridiculous when it's fantastic heat, great wrestling, Bad News defeats John Cena after the whole of the distract Cena. And John Cena is still, so he will be changing his storyline. What were the bad things? Low heat in a storyline, poor match quality, booking decisions, and no crowd. That's not good. We will continue his gimmick change because that is needed. And post-match, there's a massive brawl between them, which does include Bray Wyatt getting involved and Daniel Bryan making the save. So we do have Daniel Bryan involved in this match. But again, it's such a bad rating. I'm not sure why. This show's going to be terrible, and 64 is terrible. I don't have a clue why it's that bad. That seems like a good show. But we'll go back to the main screen. And we're back to the main screen, and we're going to see what the news says and mainly how bad Apollo's injury is. Smackdown feedback was good, although some found it underwhelming. Not good. Apollo Crews, undisclosed leg injury. Lance Storm just doesn't get it, in my opinion. Well, that's not good, is it? Let's go and have a quick look at this injury. See how long. 14 days, that's not terrible. Let's see how that's actually ruined any of the storylines. See, they're all coming off really well. And John Cena's only supporting, maybe changed it up a little bit. That one's getting a lot better. That 48 is good for what it was. US title is growing, women's is growing a bit. This is terrible. I've got to take Sheamus a big show out of that. Wyatt and Daniel Bryan won. They're not having matches, so a bit difficult. We're not even reaching. We got the storylines because we're lower rated. So 59 heat is working. I'm achieving this, but that's such a bad rating. Let's just check who's hot and who's not. Seth Rollins, AJ, Kofi, Charlotte, Roman, Alicia, Goldust, Curtis, Fandango, and Bo Dallas. They're the usual suspects, really. Then that really is it for the show. The next show will be the next episode of Shockwave, and then we will be heading into Vengeance, which is the Raw pay-per-view, I believe. Yeah, the Raw pay-per-view with matches so far: Ziggler, Samoa Joe, Last Man Standing, 3-on-3 between Perfect Athletes and the Social Outcasts, maybe pre-show, Triple Threat World Heavyweight Championship match, Triple Threat ladder match for the IC, and a 2-on-2 between New Day and Shining Stars for the tag team titles. I know it's not the most booked card yet. We'll get there with a few more surprises on the night. Remember, the Rock's Open Challenge will be happening. So that will end the show tonight. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and we can see why our ratings are so low. And just remember, don't do drugs like Roman Reigns.